Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today, in the review box, we have the Rimac Nevera from Hot Wheels. This is a mainline and debuted in the C case of 2023. So let's go ahead and take a closer look and see if this one is worth adding to your collection. So let's go ahead and get started with our casting. So first and foremost, we'll just take a look at our proportions here. And I will say they are pretty good. We look like a Rimac Nevera should, which is good. Nothing is super wonky. Nothing is really distracting or anything. We'll put the real life car up in the top right corner there. So getting into the casting itself though, let's take a look at it. So we do have a majority metal kind of body, but the way they've done this is really interesting. So this is actually three pieces that make up this entire thing. So we have the diecast body, which is all this stuff up here mostly. Then we have this black plastic bit that goes through the entire center section, except for this part right here. This is all a piece of the interior. So this is worked into the interior there. And then obviously this entire skirt section, then going up into the splitter, and then this bit right there as well. This is all the actual base piece. So the way they kind of integrate that is really cool. I think it actually works really well, and it creates the look that is pretty unique for a mainline in all honesty, but it's really cool. Love the way they did that. So getting into the actual casting up front, you do actually get your meshing kind of up front in these vents, which is kind of hard to tell, but it looks good up there. We do have our mirrors casted in, which looks good. Love it when we get mirrors. Casting lines that you'd want to see are there. The doors go all the way down, even to the plastic piece of the skirt. And then coming to the back here, our wing is up, and we do have some little indentations where the wing would go if it were to be laying flat, which looks good. Our diffuser is a part of the base. Well, it's actually a piece of the interior, but it molds into the base there, which looks good. It's a nice way to incorporate multiple things all into the same kind of look there. So moving into our paint and deco, we've got just kind of this nice simple metal flake blue, which looks really good. And then the thing with down here, it doesn't match it perfectly, but in most light settings it looks fine. And then we kind of have the contrasting of the black piece there, very similar to how the real life car looks. So overall it's a pretty clean choice. It's definitely a realistic color for this car, and I think it was a pretty good choice for the first ever release of this casting. Moving into our details, we're going to start up front. So we do get headlights. They are just tampos, so there is the possibility that we may get this casting at some point without them. So that is a little concerning, but we do have a Rimac logo here, which looks good. And then this entire section here, which is supposed to kind of look like a grille of a regular car, this is actually a tampo as well, so that looks good. And then, as we talked about, there is meshing and stuff there. Lots of little detailed bits into this interior piece. Speaking of the interior, if we actually come back here, if you look inside there, the Rimac logo is actually on where the engine would be on a typical mid-engine car. This one being fully electric is obviously no engine back there. But if we go to our rear here, we did talk about the diffuser detailing and everything like that, but we do also have some taillights. They're very simple, but they are there and they do look good. So overall, our detail section is pretty good. Our wheels are a nice choice for a supercar like this, and yeah, pretty good details for a mainline. So this being a mainline, it does roll, and it rolls very nicely. No surprises there. For our pros and cons, the first big pro is that as of right now, this is the only Rimac Nevera in 1/64th-ish scale. So they are the first ones to come out with a Rimac of any kind, I should say, because I don't think the Concept 1 ever got a diecast, in this scale at least. There are a couple other more premium brands working on it, but as of right now, Hot Wheels is the only one that has one. The other big pro, I would say, is that overall it just really looks clean. This is a nice mainline. The integration of the three plastic pieces, or the two plastic pieces into the die-cast metal, just really creates a unique and very nice, cool look, especially on a mainline. For our cons, there's really only one that I can come up with, and it's the same gripe I had with the Lotus Avaya casting, and that is that rear wing being up. I think it would just look better with the wing down. You see this car typically just in pictures or car shows or anything like that. Typically you see it with its wing down. I personally think it looks better with its wing down, just like the Lotus Avaya. So it is a little disappointing to me that it was left up, and especially up in such a high position on the Hot Wheels casting. For some quick size comparisons, obviously I don't have any other Rimacs in my collection, but I do have a couple other electric hypercars, so we'll get started with the Hot Wheels Pininfarina Battista and the Hot Wheels Lotus Avaya. And then here we have it next to some other fast cars you might have in your collection with the Matchbox Moving Parts Tesla Roadster concept and the Mini GT Bugatti Chiron Supersport. So it is now time to give my final thoughts, and I'm going to go ahead and give the Rimac Nevera mainline a 9.7 out of 10. I really, really like this casting, and this is a casting I was very excited for because I really like this car. And, you know, this is a modern day, very fast. It actually just set a bunch of world records. Supercar that I just really like. This is perfectly right up my alley, the style of car that I want Hot Wheels to make. And then to have the executed be borderline perfect, the execution be borderline perfect, you know, I really don't have any complaints there. I love the way that these three pieces integrated nicely. They could have just tried to throw some tampos or something on the sides of the bland casting or just make this one singular color, but they didn't. They kind of went above and beyond and thought outside of the box, and it really came out nice. I mean, that just looks fantastic. Yes, the plastic piece doesn't match up here perfectly, but in most lighting you can't even tell the difference. My only real gripe is I do wish the wing had been in the lowered position, similar to the Lotus Avaya. I wish that one had gotten the lowered wing as well. However, I do kind of at least appreciate the consistency. You know, one electric hypercar gets the wing up, another electric hypercar should get the wing up, even though the Pininfarina's wing was down. So I'm actually going to steal a line that my friend Mini Racers over on Instagram sent me. He actually sent me this car, so I was not able to find this for quite some time in my area. So this one was actually sent to me by him, and he said, with mainlines, occasionally there's ones that he can't believe he paid $1 for, right? And this is exactly the way I feel about this model. This is one where I can't believe it was only $1-ish, because it really just came out looking so nice, and that is exactly how I feel about this release overall, and I think it absolutely should be added to your collections. Alright, this is definitely one to pick up. And that is all I have for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment down below telling me what your thoughts are on this particular model, and I will see you in the next video.